Hello and welcome to the Messages from Yoni podcast. And I am back with a favorite, Miss Leandra Rose. And I just wanted to share a little bit about her in case you don't know her. She's a transformational coach, somatic healer, and spiritual entrepreneur. She's dedicated to guiding visionary women and change makers towards what she calls sovereign success, a life and business rooted in purpose, ease, and deep alignment. She's the founder of True Self Temple and creator of Somatic Alchemy, a 90-day one-on-one program designed to help clients rewire their nervous system, release survival patterns, and embody their most powerful, authentic selves. With over a decade of experience in somatic healing, nervous system mastery, and soul-led mentorship, Leandra has helped thousands break free from limiting patterns and align their lives with their soul's mission. Her approach combines breathwork, embodiment practices, and nervous system recalibration to facilitate profound personal transformation. Leandra Rose, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me. Thanks for the beautiful introduction. Yay.
So, I have personally experienced some of your profound work. In fact, just last week we had a healing session that just really cracked me open, and I'm so excited to share you with my audience and with new people. So everyone check her out. You can find her at leandrarose.com. And today we're going to talk about many different things. We have a couple important things on the list though. And one of the first things is we're going to recap on this dopamine detox that her and I had set out to do. And we have had profound results. And it's something that started last year. And because of the results that we have had, it has rolled into even more detoxes throughout that we have benefited from. So, Leandra, what has come about for you since taking on the dopamine challenge, and what has your experience been like?
Oh my gosh. I think the last time we did a podcast and we talked about it, I was like 7 days in, and I was just blown away by the difference in how my brain was operating, how I was thinking about things, how I was experiencing time and space and reality after just 7 days. And when we did our dopamine detox, it was like it started with 30 days of no Instagram, no screens or like very limited screens, no social media at all. I deleted social media off my phone I was going to do it for 30 days, and it turned into a 4 month detox because it was so good. It was so good. It was so profound. And I think I highly recommend everybody do 7 days, do 30 days, do a freaking year, whatever you need to
Mm.
do to get your brain back, because I think we're lying to ourselves if we say that it's not impacting us. Yes, there are incredible benefits to being connected worldwide and to have 24/7 connection to all kinds of people and ideas. There's a huge benefit there, but we have to learn how to navigate that, how to manage that. And our brains simply are not designed to navigate so much information coming at us. Our nervous systems are not designed. And in fact, our nervous systems are always picking up information from the environment. And when we are bombarded with so much, it's literally short circuiting our nervous system. It's literally overwhelming the nervous system to take in a cat video, some news, text message dings, whatever is happening. It's a lot of information and input that we have to learn how to navigate. And so I definitely recommend dopamine detoxes. I've talked about it on my own podcast and wherever I can. But that 4 months was absolutely transformative. My whole business changed
Mm.
because before that, I had grown my business to 6 figures using Instagram. And it was amazing. Back when I started Instagram, like, I don't know, like 8 years ago, 10 years ago now, um, it was pretty new to be building a business on there. It was a completely different beast. And it was fun. It was actually fun back in those old days, 10 years ago. Um, but lately it hadn't been fun, but I was still pushing. I was still pushing because that's how I built my business and that's how everybody's doing it. And you should have social media presence and you should be consistent on social media, right? And all of that makes sense. And it did grow my business, but then there was a point where my intuition was like, something's not right here. And we talked about that a lot, just trusting that intuition, even though it wasn't logical. And so last year at the end of the year, that's when we did our 30-day, started off as a 30-day detox to get off of Instagram. And I've since used Pinterest for my business, which is much gentler. It's not as much of a dopamine hit. I don't scroll on Pinterest. Like I don't feel like sucked in that way. There's another like interesting piece is like I don't feel the ego in it. I just post things and it's gone. Whereas on Instagram, I feel like there's this instant energy of competition and judgment of myself and other. I don't know. It's a very different vibe. Anyway, so I've been using Pinterest and my business is growing. December actually ended up being because I had planned when we took December off, I was like, okay, I can not make any money in December and I'll be fine because it was the end of the year and I was going to take the holidays off anyway. And December ended up being a $40,000 month with no social media and like very little effort because my energy just clicked into place. And yes, it's not like there was no strategy. I was still sending emails out, I was still doing my workshops, but I wasn't scattering my energy trying to do all the things and, doing the social media thing when my intuition was saying it was time to pause.
Mm. I love this. I love this so much. And I remember you had talking about what else became available to you because you got this time back and this energy. So what were some of the things that you were able to now divert your attention to?
Besides everything, like I don't even know when I took those 4 months off, and I'm still not fully back on Instagram. I'm not to the degree that I was before. I'm not posting as much. I'm there, but I'm not fully there. Um, but when I took those 4 months off, like every day, I was like, how did I ever have time to scroll on Instagram? How did I ever have time to like constantly be on Instagram, DMs, engaging, making stories, like how did I ever have the time? Because as soon as I was off, my time got filled with everything else, all the things that I want to be doing, the self-care, the connection time with my partner. He also got off of Instagram at the same time and he hasn't been back on.
Wow.
He's deleted it from his phone. We actually had a little ceremony with friends and deleted our apps from our phones together. And anyway, he's not back on. And it's amazing how much time is wasted. And I think if couples really look at things honestly, like how much time do you sit next to your partner, scrolling, sending reels back and forth to each other instead of being in partnership, instead of going on dates, going on walks, snuggling, making love, connecting, like all the things. These apps are stealing some of like our most fundamental human needs from us because they're filling this gap and they're using our time. And yeah, so I've noticed that even in my relationship, we have a lot more quality time together, a lot more connection and actual presence together. That's been amazing.
Oh,
Um,
this resonates with me so much. I'm like, yes, yes. I completely see that. And even in my own relationship, I think last night we were in bed and he's on his phone, I'm on my phone, and the TV was on at the same time, you know? So it's like
don't even get me started what that's doing to your nervous
the
system. Oh my God.
bombardment, you know?
Yeah. And we start to get so used to it, we don't even realize what we start to get so used to it that when things are quiet, we don't know what to do. And it's literally an addiction. And it's an addiction to that overstimulation. And when we're overstimulated, we're not able to be present. We're not able to be genuinely creative, maybe productive in that like busy kind of way, but not genuinely creative. And so that's another piece that has opened up for me too is creativity. In especially in my business, like doing things differently. Um, I started writing my blog back in like December, really getting serious about that, and that's really taken off. Um, Creating new programs and offers and workshops and things like that that I didn't have the mental space for when I was constantly being pulled by social media. And the thing about social media too is like it's not just the time that you're on it, like you're physically on it. It's also the the energy drain when you're not on it. And I've noticed for myself going on these detoxes is that in those early stages of the detox, my brain is thinking about it. My brain is thinking in a different way when I'm fully immersed in that kind of social media short form content, endless roller coaster.
Mhm. Yes, yes. And I know for me, I was catching myself since doing my own detox and since jumped back into it. But what I noticed was it's so interesting to also analyze like what it is that you gravitate towards. I think that it can tell you a lot about where your mindset is and what's going on in your inner world. And I noticed for myself there were two things. It was um watching a lot of podcasts on transformation and growth. And what I realized was it was keeping me in a state of thinking that I'm not doing that, that
Mm.
I'm that I'm somehow falling short. And so when I stopped listening to all this input about everything that I needed to do and be and have and create, all of a sudden what was left and available for me was, okay, what am I creating? What am I doing? And I wasn't having this degradation to my self-esteem. And then the other thing that I realized, I was watching a lot of true crime, and I'm just fascinated with that, and I had to break it down. And for me, I felt like, oh, there was something about watching victims go to victor and getting justice for something. So I realized, I was like, wow, I have this belief in justice. And then I thought, okay, well, how can I transfer that to my own work and creating justice for others, through a positive impact on through healing and through personal growth in general. Um, so one of the things I wanted to ask you was, did you at times find that you were having um like a struggle? Like, did you have to tap into some willpower to not go on, or did you feel like any kind of like, oh, I want to sneak it, or what was happening for you around the beginning?
Honestly, deleting it off the phone completely was made it so much easier. It was like if you're gonna eliminate sugar from your diet, you just don't have sugar in your house. It's not that hard. But if you have sugar in your house and you open the cabinet every day and there's boxes of cookies in there, it's going to be a lot harder. And you have to use your willpower to say no. So deleting it off the phone was half the battle, honestly. Like it didn't take long to just eliminate the habit from there.
Mm, I love this. I love this for you. And congratulations on the expansion of the business with this.
Thank you.
Great. And your relationship. Ah, inspiring me. Mm.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to pivot a little bit and actually a lot. I want to get just completely like change the subjects up here because I also had something else that's so important to talk about that you and I have spoken about in the past. And I feel like it's one of those things where if we're not focused on the dopamine, then now what becomes available is shining our feminine radiance and being in our feminine best. And I just wanted to know from you, how has the dopamine detox also affected your femininity and how you exude in the world?
So I think our femininity and our feminine radiance at the core of it is being embodied, being in the body, being present in this feminine. Like if you're actually just present in this feminine body, the feminine radiance is natural to it. And so the dopamine detox allows us to be more present, more in the body, and more time for being in nature, or like I said, connecting with my partner. Um, so I would say that detoxing from the dopamine allows me to be more present in my body and in my feminine essence. Also, not chasing the the next thing, right? Like when we're on those apps and it's always like the next thing and the next thing, especially running a business and feeling like you were saying, like I'm not doing enough, I've got to keep up. Oh my gosh, that person posts 10 times a day or whatever, I got to do more. And so I think being off of the apps helps me to slow down, be more present, just be more in tune with my own intuition. What is my intuition telling me about my business? And when I actually slowed down and listened to my intuition, my income like tripled.
Yes, yes, yes. And that you touched on it a little bit when you were saying, I believe it was like the comparison, in being online. And I've found that too with myself with the Instagram. There was just like, oh, she's doing this beautiful stuff and I'm not. Oh, she
Mm.
looks great in a bikini and I'm not going to put myself in a bikini and go sell my stuff. And what I started noticing was that the less that I was online, that the more my own feminine confidence and radiance like really started to express itself as well. And it made me well, we talked about this. There's one of my favorite lines that you and I have said behind the scenes to each other is like, sure, you're getting sales, sure, your numbers are climbing, sure, you look amazing, but can you do it with your clothes on?
Mm.
And I find that there's also this misinterpretation that's put out there, especially to women, that this is what femininity looks like, the like tits out, ass out, and shaking it. And again, can you do it with your clothes on? That is, to me, the the tits and ass out is not the picture of femininity and feminine radiance. And I think that we can really show women today that you can keep your clothes on and you can make great money and you can still be feminine in your radiance. And I
Yeah.
really feel like you are a shining example of that as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. This is a big one for women stepping into the entrepreneurial space, especially with social media the way that it is now. Like I said, I started in the old days when you could do it with your clothes on and get views um, and traction on Instagram. I'm talking specifically about Instagram because that's where I've been hanging out. And it's definitely shifted. There's been this huge wave. I mean, I'm sure it was always there, but just more and more of women, I'll say specifically women in our field in the coaching service industry, uh, posting on Instagram in their bikinis, in their lingerie, and calling it feminine empowerment. Well, if I feel comfortable enough to be online in my lingerie, then this is like the pinnacle of feminine empowerment. And it's not necessarily. Uh, it may be for some women. I still would question that. I would still push back on that a bit. Um, yeah, does it get you the likes? Does it get you to go viral? Sure, but is it in integrity with your true feminine radiance and true feminine power? And I shared a creator with you recently. Her name is Rosaline, and I don't remember her last name in this moment, but we'll have to tag her
Yes.
because Rosaline I met in a mastermind, and she is a brilliant woman who is a Muslim woman. She's an incredible creator, women's empowerment coach, sexuality teacher, and businesswoman. And she wears the full hijab. She only shows, if she goes online, you only see her eyes. But getting to know her and through the mastermind, but also through her content, she is a woman who is totally in her power and in her femininity
Mm.
without showing one single inch of her skin. And she's teaching women how to embody their feminine radiance and power without having to take their clothes off for the gram. You should have her on your podcast.
All right, coming up next. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah, Rosaline, and her last name starts with a B, and I don't remember what it is, but hopefully you can find her and tag her.
Absolutely. We'll be
Yeah.
sure to do that. Yes. I love hearing you speak of this. And I and the reason I it also resonates so much with me is because as a former sexual assault survivor turned thriver, there was a period of time when I was very promiscuous. And thank the gods that Instagram and all this stuff, the cameras weren't always out. So there weren't those videos of me out there, and I wasn't putting that out there of myself, but publicly I was. And I feel now that because I have this inner sense of what my true femininity is, that the promiscuity just fizzles away. It's not even something that is in my realm of consciousness anymore. And in fact, more people now than ever tell me how radiant and feminine I am, and you as well. And I just love seeing women that are owning that and exuding that in these very just beautiful, natural ways with their clothes on. And we can do it. And there are so many men in the world that want this energy from us. They don't want to share our body with anyone else and holding that sacred. And also that femininity is not a dress, heels, and lipstick. It can help enhance those things, and but a dress does not make a woman. And in fact, I was telling someone recently that my sister, she's in Colorado, and she barrel races horses, and she wears cowboy boots and jeans, and her boyfriend, her man is just so into her feminine radiance because she's in her power. She's doing what she loves. She's smiling and laughing. She's in her creativity. And that to me is where the femininity really comes out, is when you're in your authentic expression of what you are as a person. And yeah, what's coming up for you when you hear me say this?
Yeah, well, I think what you're speaking to is that your feminine worth, your value, isn't in what gets you attention. It's how you feel on the inside and exude that, radiate that, whether it's, your passion for horses and cowboy boots or your passion for whatever it is, right? But being in that essence of your joy or passion, and pleasure, but not necessarily sexual pleasure. Because it is true that, when we're in our pleasure and our joy, that's when we are in our radiance. But it's not just sexuality. And I think that it's so incredibly limiting for women to think that or to fall into this idea that just our sexuality is where our value is. And that's what I see when I see a coach that's teaching fucking business in lingerie. Like that's not it, there's an incongruence there, right? Like you don't need to be in your lingerie to sell business coaching or life coach, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And we were before the call, we were also touching on how that's actually really masculine. It's like the peacock with
Hmm.
the male peacock coming out with his big feathers and like you said, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm standing out, being the attractor. And we don't need to do that, ladies. And I also want to preface with this. There's no shame here. It's just a noticing. And it's an awareness to have and how it lands in your body when you see that. And for men too, how it lands for them when they see that. I personally know so many that are really turned off to to that style. And it's I think there's a quality of immaturity to it, that someone hasn't come into their womanhood. And like you said, it's limiting. It's thinking, oh, this is how I need to do it here, when really there's this whole other expansive world and ways to get
Yes.
that attention.
And I wish I could reference this research because I heard it like 20 years ago when I was in college, and I haven't been able to find it. So you just have to trust me. Um, that there was research done. And the reason it hit me so hard is because back in college, um, I am a petite woman. I don't have big breasts. And I had a lot of shame around that in college. I wanted to have big breasts. I wanted to have that male attention in that way because I wasn't in my mature feminine essence yet. I didn't know anything about a truly empowered feminine. All I saw were these images that I was fed, that we're all fed, of what a woman, what a sexy, beautiful woman is, big boobs, like you said, lipstick and heels, right? Um, and so this research hit me, and it was that they made a correlation between men who were immediately attracted to a more exaggerated female form versus men who were attracted to a less exaggerated female form, meaning they would show images to them of a woman who has really big boobs, small waist, big butt, versus a woman whose proportions were a little bit more or less exaggerated, right?
Mhm.
And what they found was that there was a correlation between lower intelligence and the men who were attracted to the more exaggerated features. And and what the research was saying, that they think that evolutionarily, if your intelligence is lower, you have to be able to make decisions about your environment quicker. You're not able to evaluate things or go a couple layers deeper. You have to be able to see, like, is that food? Is that sex? Is that safe? Like, and so that was the correlation that this research made, was that for men with lower intelligence, they don't have the brain space to think beyond boobs and butt, reproduce.
It's just procreate, must. Oh, there, big boobs, but like.
Yeah.
Wow. Take a moment for that one. I I'm flipping through my brain files right now, and it's checking. I'd
And
be curious curious to get some comments from people about what their brain files are letting them know.
Coming across that research helped me to make the decision to not get my breasts augmented in college. I had a college boyfriend. Yeah, we could probably check out his intelligence. But I had a college boyfriend who was very interested in supporting me in getting my breasts augmented. And thankfully, that relationship didn't last long. And I came into my feminine body in a healthier way, in a healthier relationship. Not to say that augmenting yourself or whatever is a bad thing if you're doing it from a place of truly connecting with your body, but most of us aren't. Most of us are augmenting or changing our physical appearance because we're told that, this is societally what beauty is. So anyway, that research really hit me hard. And I've now tried to look it up. I've tried to find it as a grown up, as an adult, but I haven't found it. So if anybody comes across it, I would love to have it because it was totally life changing.
Oh, please. We need someone who's, what do they call those keyboard warriors? They go out and
Yeah.
they like sleuth it out. Yes, we need someone. Oh, that's rich. Yeah, and I'm also reminded about something you had told me that also came up for you in college was some research done about they had brought over indigenous tribes to the
Mm.
US and had asked them what's wrong with the Western world? What's going on here? What are you
Well, these women, I think it was just the women. Anyway, I don't remember all the details, but they brought these indigenous people over, and the indigenous people were looking at our world going, what is going on here? Like, where are your trees? Where's your nature? Where's your reverence for the animals? And the women said, these indigenous women, I think they were asked, like, well, what do you see going on here? And the indigenous women said, where are your women at? And here we always point to blame the patriarchy. Well, the patriarchy, the men did this. They built the buildings and
misogyny?
they don't care about the earth. And these indigenous women said, where are your women at? Because it's the women who direct the men. It's the women who lead the men because it's the women who hold the wisdom of the deeper connectedness of all things. So it's on the women to teach the men how to care for this earth.
Mm.
And yeah,
Mm. Oh, I love this. I'm so resonating with this. A piece of my work that I love from Mars, Venus, Gender, Intelligence, and something John Gray says is if it weren't for women, men would still be living in caves. And it's because women have the desire to expand, to have more, our bodies being able to have multiple orgasms and love just wants to expand more and more and more. And so it's us who brings that expansion to the men because we need their help, right? And I love it. It's like, yeah, they're the reason we have homes with indoor plumbing and multiple bedrooms because she was like, I'm not going out in the cold anymore. Figure it out, oh no, we need to have little separate dwellings. I mean, even even if you're in a longhouse or something, right? You still have your separate compartmental areas that everyone sleeps in. And so there was still an element of growth and expansion in how our homes and dwellings are being built and shared with family. So I really love this. This is fantastic.
yeah. And so I think it's really important to understand that feminism, the way that it's been taught to us, probably isn't the solution that we need in order to restore the harmony that we desire in our modern Western world. And the question is, how do we women inspire our men to create solutions that are in harmony? How do we create factories or dismantle factories, or how do we do commerce in a way that does honor this earth instead of blaming and victimhood and the, perpetual blaming of the patriarchy. What if we asked, how do we as women contribute to what's happened on this planet? How have we contributed? And yeah, I think we might get somewhere if we started from that place.
I absolutely agree. In my work, I know you've heard me say this, the woman is the first domino. She's the one that sets the stage and the tone. And it's through our connection to our emotions and sharing those emotions with our men about what we desire, what we don't like and what we do like. And when we're quiet about that, how do they know? They don't know. And so the more vulnerable and emotionally vulnerable that we can be in sharing how we're really feeling about whatever is going on in our lives, our business with these men, that's where I think the true change lies. Because once these men hear how we feel, they are so quick to make changes. I've seen men change like that, shift, like all of a sudden their heart just gets cracked open because we touch on that emotion inside of them that they can connect with. And I truly believe that that's where the change comes from, is us desiring more and sharing that desire with these men so they can go out there and be the providers of what it is that we desire.
Yes. And you and I are speaking about this from a much more mature place and a much more healed place. And we've been through a lot of our own healing with our own feminine and healing with the masculine. So, what we're saying is coming from a very different place than I think a lot of people. And as you're talking, I can kind of hear the collective chatter of like, you can't just be vulnerable to these men. Like, what are you talking about, Marisa? How are you supposed to just open your heart? They don't deserve it. They haven't proven that they're not safe, and to those women who are listening who have been objectified or have been the victims of the unhealed masculine, what you're saying can feel like light years away. And so we have to first be responsible for healing our own relationship to the masculine and recognizing that not every man is a predator. That if you were victimized by a man, that was a wounded man, but that's not the case. All men are not like this, right? And so it's really important to do that healing work within ourselves first so that we can then be that feminine light that inspires the conscious masculine, that inspires men to do their own healing, that inspires the conscious masculine to stand up and realize that, there's changes that need to be made here. But I wanted to say that because I can kind of feel that collective energy of like, wait a minute, we can't just trust men.
Mm-hmm. I love this. I love that you're saying that. Yes. And I do agree that there needs to be that first step in healing. I know that for myself, the way that, I always suggest to women to practice on a um like one of the ways that you can practice on a first basic level is, when you're out at a restaurant or a grocery store and someone says, "How are you feeling?" Instead of just being fine, sometimes just be honest. I was just at the store the other day and someone asked me that, this young guy, I don't know, he must have been 19, and he was just very personable. And, "How are you feeling?" And I was like, "I'm really sad today. And I'm a little premenstrual, but I'm having a better day now that you asked me. Thank you." And he said, "Oh, I know. My sisters go through that." And we
Oh my
just kind of
God.
chuckled, and then I walked away. And it was just this beautiful point of connection. And it could have seemed weird to someone behind me, but you know what? It's what's so. And I think that when we can practice in these small, safe ways, that we can begin to see, oh, when I do share emotion, when I am
Mm.
honest about how I'm feeling, where I'm at, what I mean, then there's these opportunities for these connections with these men. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly how we start to heal this planet, because one of the challenges that we have in fixing the problems that we see in the world is that we are disconnected. We're disconnected from our bodies, we're disconnected from the earth, we're disconnected from each other. So, that little moment of you being genuinely authentic with this person created this moment of connection that then ripples out into the world. Just like if we are closed in those moments and you were like, I'm fine, right? And just, or even worse, some women who are really in their wounded feminine might snap at a young man for talking to her. I see this all the time online, of like people being like, yeah, this man tried to talk to me. How dare he try to talk to me? All men are like that. All men are trying to get something from us or whatever. So we have the choice to either perpetuate that disconnection or to do the work inside of ourselves so that we do feel safe to be in genuine connection with people.
Yes, yes. I love this. I love hearing you say this because it's reminding me of, it was like last year, could have been 2 years ago. Everything's collapsing so fast. But I was in a restroom, and it was out at a restaurant, and there were these young girls there, and maybe like three or four girls in the bathroom, can't really remember. But I heard this one girl saying exactly what you said, like, "Oh, this guy just talked to me out there, and ugh, and just brushing him off." And I felt so bad on the inside for the way that they were talking about this guy, because when I heard the story as I'm in the stall listening, it didn't even strike me as anything. I was like, what is she talking about? And I came out of the restroom, and they were younger than me, in their early 20s. And I said to them, it took that guy a lot of courage to come up and talk to you. And it would be really nice if we as women don't cut men down when
Mm.
they're just doing what is the biological design of finding a mate and talking to someone. And I think that that's something that's been lost in recent years, is courtship, the fine art of
Mm.
courtship, and what it actually looks like. And I think it's really important for women to know that it does take men courage to talk to us. And one of my rules that I learned from a dating coach many years ago was that when a man comes up and asks you out on a date, or he wants to get your phone number, and you have a partner or you don't have a partner, she said, own your response to this man. So she said, if you have a partner and you find this gentleman attractive and endearing, and if you didn't have a partner, you would go out with him, don't make the excuse, oh, I can't talk to you because I have a boyfriend. She said, let him know, you know what? I would say yes to you, but I'm currently partnered. Because that right there is such a beautiful gift to a man. And he will be able to walk away and have confidence to take that energy and go ask someone else again, instead of cutting him down and making him feel scared to go talk to another woman. Or if you don't have a partner, to not give your power away to some man that doesn't exist. Oh, I have a boyfriend, but it's not real. It's no, thank you. I'm not interested. No, thank you. This isn't a good time for me. And just leave it at that. But you own your power and
Mm.
in your voice.
I love that. And you taught me that many years ago, and I will never forget the first time that I did that for a young man who asked me for my number, and I was partnered at the time. And I remember just giving him this really genuine response, like, first of all, thank you for having the courage to ask me out. I'm flattered. And if I were single, I would say yes to this, but I am partnered. But just thank you. And like, I wish you luck on finding, what you're looking for. And he was so like, he was like so filled up and like so proud and just like, I've never been turned down in such a way. Like, I love this. Like, this is amazing. Like, he was, and just what a gift that we have to be able to fill these men up instead of cutting them down and then wondering, why are all men like this? Why are they afraid to talk to women? Why are they rude to, like, whatever? How are women treating men and taking back to like, what's our responsibility? What if we took responsibility for how we are creating this world that we live in? And what if we did like just fill these men up? Like, and because you taught me that, and we used to talk even when I was single, um, I remember like just feeling so happy to be able to give this to a man who would ask me out or ask me for my number, even if I wasn't interested. And just to be like, oh my gosh, thank you for having the courage to ask me out. And, I'm not interested at this time, but I wish you so much luck. Just that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the ripple
Yes.
effect and like seeing these men just like light up at being turned down in such a graceful way. It's beautiful. So I thank you for that. And we can pass this on to everybody who's listening now and just see this world, just seeing these men being uplifted.
Yes. Yes. I have a 19-year-old son, and one thing that I've really learned so much, and this may be controversial to say, but I'm gonna say it, is that in many ways I almost think that men are more sensitive than women are. And women, I think because we have that realm of unseen, and we're so visionary, and we're so connected to um the big picture, that we have this ability to compartmentalize very well and cut things off and do this and multitask. And that's what makes us great multitaskers, is that we are so strong, and that we can kind of back burner some of these sensitivities. And I feel like I feel like sometimes women can be so much more cruel and manipulative than men. I feel like men have the brute force and can be violent when they go into the unconsciousness, but where women lack in the brute force, we make up for that intellectual, nasty, manipulative, deceptive quality that really can cut a man to his core. And I mean, some of the meanest people I've known in life are teenage girls.
This
And
is why I always say insecure women are the most dangerous people on the planet. For everything that you just said, insecure women are literally the most dangerous people on the planet. I'd rather be face to face with an insecure man who might punch me in the face than to deal with insecure women who use um, their ability to manipulate, because that is so ugly and causes so much more long lasting damage to our society than the awful things that men have done. I'm going to stand on that insecure women are more dangerous than insecure men. Yes, like you said, men have the brute force and they have the unfortunate uh, perception, or we have the unfortunate perception of them that they can do damage because the damage that they do is visible, right? Like if they punch you in the face, you got a bruise on your face. You can say that that happened. But when insecure or wounded women unconsciously use their power to gain control or
their
manipulate a situation, their
sexuality.
sexuality, their power, their ability to manipulate emotions, when they use that, it often goes very hidden and it actually destroys not only that man's life or that person's life, but everybody connected to them. Whereas if someone punches you in the face, that sucks. That hurts. And you're
Yeah,
going to be okay,
the
right?
body can heal.
But when insecure and wounded women use that femininity to cut someone deeply, it has long lasting, and I would even argue lifetimes, generations of pain and trauma that come from that kind of deep wounding that the feminine can cause.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that getting punched in the face by a man is okay. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
no one's saying that, anybody.
No one's saying that it's okay. I'm
And
just
we're
saying.
also not saying that men can't be manipulative at all either. We know they can. We know there's toxic
And
traits.
it's that feminine quality, though, that
Yes,
does that emotional manipulation.
exactly. Because even in the men, it's that feminine, uh, deceptive manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The unhealed quality. Oh, it's so good. It's so delicious. Oh, yeah, I just feel called, like I feel like there's a call to action here for women is to understand that men are so sensitive and they're so perceptive to our energy, our thoughts, our emotions. They feel it. They're so deep with their feelings. And I think for women to have more of a sensitivity and an understanding um to just how much that they can wound a man, and especially because he is designed to be strong on the outside, to not show that it hurts,
Mhm.
and so sometimes it's really hard to know that we're actually hurting our men. um yeah.
Yeah.
what do
So
you what do you feel like is a call to action for women here today that you can tap into?
I would say it's restoring your own power, taking your power back from all the places that you felt victimized, taking yourself out of the victim perpetrator savior triangle, the drama triangle, taking yourself out of that, taking full responsibility for yourself, full responsibility for for your life, even if you have had, I mean, you and I can both talk about, the things that have happened to us, the abuse and things that have happened to us, but it's our responsibility to do that healing so that we don't perpetuate that, especially as women, because a lot of times the what we're talking about, right? The abuse happened in a very physical or overt way, and so we don't necessarily think that we are carrying that forward because we're not doing that. I'm not doing the abuse. But if we carry forward the disempowered victimhood, I guarantee it that, especially as women, somehow that's leaking out and causing that damage. So I would say the call to action is doing that healing, looking at any parts of your life where you feel like a victim. And I still have to do this all the time. Sometimes I make myself the victim of the algorithm. I make myself the victim of the markets, whatever, right? Wherever I see myself feeling disempowered or like a victim, that's my signal to go inward. Okay, what's my responsibility here? Because I am 1000% responsible for myself. This is part of being a grown up. I don't know if anybody didn't tell us that, but like 1000% responsibility for yourself is where your power is at. And if you are ever tempted to go into that drama triangle to be the victim, the savior, or the perpetrator, that's a disempowering place to be. So how can you take 100% responsibility for yourself, your actions, and what you're creating in the world?
Mm. I love that. I love that because immediately when I'm like, oh yeah, and then what becomes available after that is an extraordinary relationship with an extraordinary man that wants to show up and be in partnership with you and expand in life with you. And oh, it's so good. Oh, I was like, okay, and scene. Like, I just felt it. Did you feel it?
Yeah. Mic drop. That's the mic drop.
Fable. Fable. Oh, Miss Rose, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so grateful for this conversation. I love going deep. I love talking about ways that we can expand as women, and I would love to have you back again soon.
Anytime. I love it. Love being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
So before we go, I would love for you to share with people how they can reach you and what you have coming up. I know that you have a class, a live class, May 29, 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Threshold. Can you tell us about that?
Hmm. Yeah, Threshold is a somatic recalibration for visionary leaders, healers, entrepreneurs, to help you navigate the expansion at the edge of your next level of visibility, power, leadership, because it is, as leaders, we're always going to be coming up to that next edge. And if we don't know how to navigate it, we don't know how to teach our nervous system that it's okay, that it's safe to have that next level of visibility or to have that next level of wealth. If we don't do that, we end up going back to the old familiar. And that's where we stay stuck in those loops. And so, Threshold is about teaching you what's happening when you hit that threshold and how to move through it.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that. And if someone wants to dive deeper with you, what program would be right for them?
So right now I do one-on-one work in my somatic alchemy program that you mentioned earlier. It's 90 days where we go deep. I take you through my somatic alchemy methodology. It's a combination of somatic healing, hypnotherapy, and my years of study in human development and child imprinting. So what we're doing is we're restoring you to your innate intelligence that was conditioned out of you between the ages of 0 to 7,
Mm.
and beyond, but really those formative years, 0 to 7, where you received faulty conditioning. And so the work we do in somatic alchemy is to help you restore your innate intelligence through the somatic alchemy process. Um, yeah, so that's one-on-one. And right now I have a wait list. So if anybody's interested, they can email me at leandra@leandrarose.com and let me know you want to be on the wait list to work with me one-on-one. And we'll get you on that wait list and call you when we have some openings.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. And thank you all for being here for another episode of Messages from Yoni. Take care.